Welcome to Donna and Friends. With me this week, I've got a very, very special guest, Christy Malone. Welcome to the show, Christy.
Thank you.
You know, I've been hearing a lot about you, and one of the things that I've been hearing is that you teach out at Deep Rock School.
I do. I'm a kindergarten teacher.
So is that a lot of fun?
A lot of fun. I sleep very well every night.
Oh, I bet you do,
Yeah.
and I'll bet that's a great thing to do with such young minds is to teach like that. But I wanted to invite you in because we got connected, and I wanted to hear a little bit about your father, and I think from that point we'll be able to kind of talk about all the things that you're kind of doing right now concerning that.
Okay. Well, my father was killed in Vietnam when I was a baby. I was 2 months old, so I never got a chance to meet him. So that's kind of where everything is kind of started with that. Do you want to talk to the book? When I was a teenager, I wrote a poem about my father, and some teachers were going to the wall, so they left it at the wall, and it was picked up by the Park Service. From there,
And that's something that the Park Service does, and they actually, and this is something I didn't realize, that they actually store everything that is left at the wall.
Yes, they do, and it's cared for with white gloves. You have to have white gloves when you're going through that. So it was actually picked up by a production company, and they called me and asked to do an interview. So I was on Nightline when I was about 17. I know. It was very surreal for me. And then from there, a lady saw that and asked to write a story about my father, and was put in a book.
Well, I think how that must have felt being at that age and getting a call like that and from a poem, and it's a wonderful poem, by the way.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed reading it. I really did. And from that, I mean, you've just always had this connection.
Right.
With the war, of course, and the wall. And there's something that they're doing right now with an education center. Tell me about that.
Right. They're trying to actually build an education center. The goal is to break ground on it next year. But what they're trying to do right now is find a face to go with every name that's on the wall. So right now, currently, there's about 40,000 photos that they found, but they're still looking for over 18,300 and some faces.
My goodness.
Right.
And you know, I know people have at least seen pictures of the wall. Most people have. And that is such an overwhelming thing itself. And then to think about the task of putting a photo with each one of those names.
Right.
Amazing.
Yeah. It's been amazing. I've been trying to help with that. I found, and I know it sounds like a small amount, but 7 so far. But you're getting to the point where maybe they didn't have children, or maybe they weren't married, so it was just their parents. So then you start looking at they had brothers or sisters and things like that. So so I've found
now there are
7.
2 in Cushing, is that right?
Yes, I found 2 in the past couple weeks in Cushing. Reached out on social media, and I found 1 through social media. The other one I found that he had a lot of different circumstances, and I was able to find a photo on a website, and I just put it up there. So I really felt like I wasn't going to find family on this person. So,
you know, it's really amazing to me to think about that, you know, and what a overwhelming task this really is. Now in Oklahoma, how many are we talking about?
273. 273 that still don't have a photo or face to put with that name. Yes.
So are you kind of involved in a group that kind of you all band together to kind of do this, and also just keeping in touch as children of the Vietnam veterans?
Yes, there is a group called Sons and Daughters in Touch, and it's a small group. We try to look for other people because there's thousands of kids, you know, as adults now. But and so some of us have kind of started taking on our states and trying to figure out, you know, trying to find some faces, because you know those local people, when you live in that town, it's easy to do that. So you start there and start working your way out. So yeah, there's been several of us adult kids that have started looking.
You know, I think this would be an interesting thought for our local American Legions or our VFWs to maybe have someone come and speak to them from your kind of small core group.
Right, yes. Oh yeah, it'd be very interesting,
And I know they could be of a lot of help too. I know at our American Legion here in town, we have a book, and they have all the veterans' pictures in there that are members, and they have what they did and what what they got, award-wise, in the war and that type of thing. And it's a really neat book. It really is.
Yeah.
So I just think this is a wonderful thing. Have you pulled this kind of into your teaching in the sense of at the school and made awareness that way as well?
Well, maybe not for kindergarten, not so much with the deaf, but I'm also a president of a Blue Star Mothers group from Stillwater. My daughter's in the Air Force, and so this Christmas time we packed boxes for the military. We were able to send 17 boxes out all over the world, so the kids loved it, and then we got messages back, and that really made it real for them to see those pictures, and one of the guys took a picture of holding up a picture that somebody colored, and so they're very excited for that. So, I've always been kind of, I guess, somehow in the military, kind of, helping out as much as I can.
Now, how long has your daughter been in the service?
She's been in 5 years.
5 years.
And my husband's retired military.
So,
yeah.
Now, have you moved around a lot?
A lot, yes. We lived overseas for 9 years.
Okay. And where did you live at?
We've lived in Sicily and Japan.
Oh,
we retired from Hawaii, and we've just been everywhere. Yeah.
So what is it like to be a part of a military family?
It's a close-knit. As much as you have military, there's millions of people, it's really kind of a close-knit because we take care of each other. When you don't have family around, they're your family. And they still are. Even, they're retired, we keep in touch. And, people just don't understand some of the things that we talk about because, they were our family, though. We did things with each other on Christmas that when we couldn't spend it with our family.
So of all the places you lived, which was your favorite?
I always say Sicily. Yeah, it's Sicily. Yeah.
What was it about Sicily that you really loved?
I don't know if it's because it was our first overseas station. I don't know if it was the people. We had to learn the language. I learned Italian while I was there because anything south of Naples, you had to learn, or they didn't understand English.
So did you learn a lot of cooking? Italian?
Some we did. I did some, but yes, I did.
Because Italian foods is one of my favorites, to eat. So I could be at home in that atmosphere.
Exactly.
So was there a lot of aroma of bread? That's what I envisioned.
Oh yes.
That's what I envisioned.
The bread, the pizza, absolutely, the gelato. It was just it was wonderful. And it used to be before they went to the euros, they had lira, and with the lira everything was it was so cheap. It was just so cheap. And you could eat fresh. Just go down to the stands, and I could send my kids down to go get the fruits and vegetables.
Oh, nice. That's nice. For the people that are watching, tell me a little bit about the Eastern Star and what that's about.
The Eastern Star?
Or the daughters of...
Oh, you mean the sons and daughters?
Yes,
no, it's
the
okay.
sons and daughters.
The Sons and Daughters. The Sons and Daughters is a group of children who have lost their fathers in Vietnam. And so they've been together for about 25 years. And so they get together... Usually they'll get together Memorial Day, they'll get together Veterans Day, Father's Day is a big event. I'm going this year to the Father's Day event. And they, just support each other and their searches for maybe, different things about their father. And so it's just a wonderful group. Like I said, they've been together for 25 years. And this will be my first time meeting them.
Oh, really?
Yes, yeah.
So I'm sure
I'm very
excited about that.
Yes, because of us living overseas, it was hard for me to come back and do those kind of things. So I just never was able to
go. I think that's a group that people may not be aware of, and we can hopefully bring some awareness to that as well for children of veterans that are out. Let's talk a little bit about the website. I believe it's www.vvmf.
Yes.
.org.
Yes.
And that is where you can find a lot of information on this project. Now, if people are watching this here locally, would it be okay for them to get in touch with you?
Absolutely, yes. Because for some people, like I said, with social media, they weren't sure how to put the picture on. One of the pictures I got, somebody got it from the veteran's mother, so they weren't sure how to do it. So absolutely, they can contact me at cjmalone@hotmail.com.
Okay, because I think if we have people out watching and they can help put these faces to the wall, how much help that will be.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, what do you think has probably been the best part of this project for you so far?
Just helping to get those pictures
up there. Just getting the pictures up there.
Yeah, in the same sense.
I guess you meet people along the way.
I did. I've talked to a lot of people. I've heard a lot of stories, which can be the downside of it. There's been days where I'm like, I can't do this today. I'll start again tomorrow.
The emotion has got to be overwhelming at times.
It is. I talked to a lady the other day, and her brother was killed the day he got there.
Oh my.
Yes. Yeah, literally the day he got there. So, yeah. But it's been, you know, like I said, emotional up and down. It's very rewarding to find that picture. And then, you know, also though to talk to somebody, that can be kind of a emotional thing.
Well, you hear so many of these stories, and we watch a lot of documentaries and that type thing, and I like to watch the documentaries, but it's so heart-wrenching at points, and I can't imagine, being in the position like you are, and so your father never saw you.
No, he didn't.
And it's hard for me to comprehend that, and how your mother must have felt.
Right. And the only thing I'm not sure if he saw pictures, but not to meet, each other, but my mother did send a cassette of my birth, so the cries of my birth, and I've heard many stories from his buddies that's what they had to listen to over and over again.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, it's just amazing to me to think about your dad and all of the other veterans that served during wartime, and so many times I think people take that for granted, or they don't understand the depth of that type of situation. Well, we're almost out of time. So again, we want to talk about this national project. It's an education center, and that'll be across from the wall.
Yes. Or I guess they kind of broke ground, but until they had to raise the money for it, until all the money is raised, they cannot build a center. But it's 2016 is what they're looking at.
And then if you go to this website, www.vvmf.org, that's where you can put the pictures with the names. And you can also get a hold of Christy. Well, Christy, I have so enjoyed you coming in, and we loved reading about the poem, and it's such a great story, and I just want to thank you for being so beneficial and getting those faces that you can get to the wall. Well, you're watching Donna and Friends, so don't touch that dial. We'll be back with more in just a little bit.